She was only 17, had the saddest pair of eyes that you ever seen. Wore them lips in the cold, it was matching green. But she can't be herself when she's somebody else.
In the morning she would take her mother's wedding ring, but school got pretty tough when they see it gleam. So she hid herself under the mezzanine, reenacting scenes.
Yeah.
She dreamed she'd go to California, there everyone would adore her, and all her mates will call her till 4 in the morning.
Is there any life on Mars?
Is there any life on Mars? Is there any life on Mars?
Yeah, yeah. Every morning she would wake up with another plan.
Yeah, mom and dad, they couldn't understand
why she couldn't turn it off, become a better man.
All this therapy, it's a way gently
hit the side of her mind that she never had.
Yeah, the story told too many times, it makes me sad. A better author made a fortune on her autograph. Give her her money back, 'cause she dreamed she'd go to California, there everyone would adore her, and all her mates will call her till 4 in the morning. Is there any life on Mars? Is there any life on Mars? Any life on Mars? Yeah, yeah. Is there any life on Mars?
Is there any life on Mars?
Any life on Mars? Yeah, yeah. And do you feel like you're irrelevant?
Do you feel like you're irrelevant?
Do you feel like you're just scared as fuck?
Do you feel like you're irrelevant?
Do you feel like you're irrelevant?
Do you feel like you're just
scared as fuck? Is there any life on Mars? Any life on Mars? Any life on Mars? Is there any life on Mars? Any life on Mars?
Oh. Is there any life on Mars?
Is there any life on Mars?
Any life on Mars?
Is there any life on Mars?
Is there any life on Mars?
Any life on Mars?
Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing marvelously well. Sitting here with the rather wonderful Mr. Steve Majora, I'm sure you know very well. And we are joined by the amazing Miss Kim Melville. And they've done a wonderful cover, you may have heard it, Mars, by Youngblood. Youngblood, if you're not sure who that is a British artist. Thank you, Steve and Kim and Steve, for covering this song and agreeing to do this as a production competition. Firstly, find out a little bit about it. Kim, where are you based at the moment? Are you in?
I'm in Paris. Paris, France, yeah.
Not Paris, Texas.
No. Unfortunately, because that would be way closer to Steve.
That's very cute. And Steve, you're in good old Northern California.
Yes, sir. Over here at Spitfire North.
Spitfire North.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is the man, the myth, and the legend. Was this tracked on your piano?
Yes. Yeah, we tracked the vocals at Kim's in Paris, France. And then we tracked the piano here. It's a 1927 Steinway Model M that's been in the family for years. It was really nice. It's the piano that I grew up, playing, and took my first piano lessons on it when I was 5, and with my great aunt. And it's still here in the same living room and in good condition. I got to oil it, but other than that, it's one of my favorite instruments to play.
Well, what's going to be great about this is it's going to be a production competition. So for those of you that are so inclined, you can pretty much do anything you like. I think we're all happy to obviously use the piano or mute it. You could mute the piano. You could use a completely different instrument. You can really get creative on it. Just use the vocals, because obviously if you're producing another artist's work, you can mess around with the arrangement. You could try some crazy stuff. If it impresses Steve and Kim and Steve, then you may win. But essentially, let's make sure that you keep the original vocals. The Youngblood produced version, I actually haven't heard that in a long time. How was that? What was the instrumentation on that? Do you remember, Kim?
It's very rich. It has a lot of electro stuff, a lot of guitars, a lot of electric guitars. And the piano would be all the way to the back. That's the version that I do live when I cover it during my gigs. But because it's the only cover during my set. And unfortunately, Steve is never there to sing it with me. But it will happen. But because I'm not doing the romantic duet, I had to find another way to cover it. So I'm using the produced version, and we're doing like a rock and roll kind of version live.
I'm sure Steve is glad that you aren't finding another romantic partner to do the duet. Anyway.
I would never. I would never.
For those of you that haven't cottoned on yet, yes, they are a couple. No, it's lovely. It's an absolutely superb cover, and it is perfect for this, for a production competition.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks ever so much to both of you for letting us use this. Steve's going to do a very brief mix breakdown on this, just to show you how he mixed the vocals and the piano. So I'm sure it'll only be about a 5-minute breakdown because it is only 3 elements. But what you did use, what microphones did you use? We wanted to give a shout out to the company that gave you the mics.
Yeah, so the microphones were provided by ProDeep Audio and Guitars. The ProDeep A1s on the piano, they sent a stereo pair of those. And
Right.
ProDeep STC 3D MK2 microphone that Kim's got there. Yeah, they were great. It was really easy. Just plugged them in, got them going, used the Audient Evo interface with the smart gain, which was really nice for being in the other room and setting gain structure. And that worked out great, and love the way it turned out.
ProDeep are one of the sponsors of this competition, and they will be giving some microphones away. Of course, our good friends at Audient will be doing the same. We've got Kali Audio going to be sponsoring us again. Thank you, Kali, with speakers. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy doing these. And what's great about it is it's completely genre-less. That's what's so beautiful about a piano vocal, is you could put programming against it, you could put death metal against it, you could put orchestra against it.
I would love to hear that.
Be careful what you wish for. So if you haven't already, go to Rate My Mix. And what you do over there is you sign up for Rate My Mix. You'll see where you can download the multi-tracks. You'll see the deadline. We give it 1 month. So you have a month to do this production. What I suggest, though, is that you take a little bit of time, unless, of course, inspiration strikes and you have something amazing in a day. I say that because with a competition like this, we can't have 5 different versions from each person. It's one version a person. Take your time. If you're not sure of it, put it on the back burner. If you want to try something else, try a different production, and then measure it out and see which one you prefer and send the one you prefer. It's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you, Steve and Kim, for agreeing to do this, and also
Of course.
be the judges, be the ones that decide what you like.
This is going to be so much fun. So excited to see what everybody comes up with.
And what we've done in the past, if you're both happy to do this, is actually release the winners as like on Spotify, so that the best productions actually get released.
Yeah. That'll be great.
Excellent. So there is going to be a link down below where you can enter. We are now going to go into young Steve himself, who's going to give you a little bit of a mix breakdown so you can see how he mixed Kim and his self's vocals and the piano.
What's up, everybody? Steve Majora here, and I've got a really fun track for you to mix. It's called Mars. It's a cover song from an artist called Youngblood, who is very talented, really beautiful song. And Kim and I, my lovely girlfriend Kim and I, did a duet version of this. And it was tracked internationally. We did the piano here in the San Francisco Bay Area at my place, and we did the vocals in Paris, France at her place. We got some really great mics from Pro Deep Audio and Guitars, and we ended up using those on this recording. So you get to check out these mics and what they do in their finest. We got a stereo pair of the Pro Deep A1s that are small diaphragm condenser mics that we used on the piano, and then the Pro Deep STC 3D MK2 that we used on vocals and as the room mic for the piano. So let's just check it out. So check out the way that I mic this. It was a little bit different. What I did was the arrangement itself is not super wide, right? What I decided to do is I decided to, instead of having a super widespread on the microphones with the A1s, I decided to tighten it up a little bit. I ended up putting the right microphone just about in the middle of where the highest note that I was going to be playing was. So it's not picking up the super wide thing. I just kind of brought it into the middle, and I think it sounds really great. The left hand, the low end mic, is kind of on this piano. You've got the strings kind of overlay like this, right? And so I've got it kind of a little more towards the edge because this left hand's getting really heavy in this left hand area. And it's these big, just boom, boom. And I wanted it to be as wide as possible between the two microphones, just playing with the spread, you know, because if you're going all the way up the piano, then it makes sense to have something over there. But because the highest note that I'm playing stops here, I want that microphone to be right here so that when I spread everything out, that's where it's getting to. It's not going beyond and then the highest note is somewhere in here. You can hear a little bit more of like, oh, the high end's over here, the low end's over here. And I think it accomplished that pretty well. But let me know what you think in the comments below. So the room mic, the STC 3D MK2 from Pro Deep, I ended up putting about maybe 7 feet away from the piano at about chin height. I wanted it to capture like if I was listening in the room and just standing in the room watching somebody play. I always try to think of microphones as like, you know, the listening point. Like if I were to listen to this, what does it sound like to me and where am I in the space to be able to hear it that way? I think it works great for piano, and I really like this mono room recording. I obviously, you know, I live here, so there's a heater, there's an ice machine. I had to turn off the ice machine and the fridge and the heater and make sure that it was pretty quiet. I actually had to take the batteries out of my clock so it wasn't going tick, tick, tick. But I think it gives a sense of ambiance. It gives a sense of like, you know, I'm here in this space. It's an environment. So the STC 3D MK2 is about 7.5 feet away from the piano, pointed directly at the piano. Check them out. Pro Deep, thank you so much for these microphones. They are great, and I'm going to use them a lot. And I hope that you guys check them out and let me know what you think. We also tracked this. It was my first recording using the Audient Evo 16, which was fantastic. One of these days, when I'm tracking piano, I'll show you my whole setup. The auto gain function on the Evo 16 just absolutely made my life so much easier. My studio's in the back, a 16-channel snake that's running under the house, so I can record the piano in here, have a little bit of separation if there's another client coming in. And it was just really nice to be able to just hit the button and then walk over here and just play the piano and not have to go back and forth 80 times to try to figure out where the gain structure should be. And I went back and I checked it. And I'm like, no way, this is this easy. And it was. I'm so very happy about that. Audient, you guys are kicking so much butt. So now that you've seen how we set it up, let me show you how it sounds. So let's just start with the piano here. So this is just the A1s, and I'm going to take off everything that I put on here, and we'll just listen to the pianos by themselves. So as you can see, this is a very dynamic performance. I think I did this all in one take because we were actually filming a video which is out now that you can go check out on YouTube. So here's just the mics themselves, right? And then we've got the mono room mic here. Take everything off of here. This is a large diaphragm condenser, about 7 feet back. And then what I ended up doing was I went through and I added some plugins to this. So let's see what we got. First off, just check out the room piano, right? So here's the room piano just by itself. Little channel EQ. It's just dipping out a little 122 because there was a little flip the phase on it. The virtual mix rack on the piano preset. Compressor and the Infinity EQ from Slate Digital on the acoustic piano setting. About just getting a little bit more grip in the middle. On the actual piano itself, we've got, again, a channel EQ. I was messing around with gain here just to check things are in phase. I don't typically measure things out. I'm much more of a kind of throw and go kind of guy when it comes to recording. So sometimes things are out of phase and sometimes they just work naturally. So I left the compressor off on this and we can just check out what is here. Again, same thing that I put on the mono room. And then I added the analog channel. Squeeze it down a little bit. Another channel EQ. And that's the piano sound. And I think it sounds great. It's nice and full. Next up, we have the vocals. So we've got Kim's vocal and my vocal. The reason that they are in summing stacks right now is because I actually had multiple ones in there from comping the takes. So I ended up comping in the stack, and then I tuned and I had them there so that if I needed to go back, I could do so. The only thing that I've really thrown on these summing stacks, which I've also made mono, by the way, you can toggle the mono and stereo using this little button right here. So I just kept these mono. And then I've got my go-to chain, which you can see here. It's sibilance, wave sibilance, which I love for de-essing. Virtual mix rack on the warm vocals preset. A compressor, an adaptive limiter, another compressor. Just getting everything just nice and brr right there. And a couple channel EQs just to notch out some frequencies that I don't like, and the R box. So here's the vocals just themselves, back to back.
17, had the saddest pair of eyes that you ever seen. Wore them lips in the cold, it was matching green. But she can't be herself when she's somebody else.
In the morning she would take her mother's wedding ring, but school got pretty tough when they see it gleam. So just the microphone here. Under the mezzanine, reenacting scenes.
Yeah. She dreamed she'd go to California, there everyone would adore her.
And all her mates will call her till 4 in the morning. And then we've got it sending to the short ambience. We've got it sent to a little plate. We've got it sent to a couple delays. And then the Valhalla Vintage Verb and the Slate Digital Verb Suite Classics 250 Vocal Perfection. My go-to.
Turn it off, become a better man.
All this therapy, it's a way
Gently hit the side of a mind that she never had.
Yeah, the story told you many times, it makes me sad. A better author made a fortune on her autograph. Give her her money back. Out in the piano. She dreamed she'd go to California, there everyone would adore her, and all her mates will call her till 4 in the morning. Is there any life on Mars? Is there any life on Mars? Any life on Mars? Yeah, yeah. And then I ended up adding in a bass synth. I used the Basement Bass from Logic Pro, which on here, I'm just giving you the audio for that. But it does come stock with Logic. And I didn't bring it in until the bridge here. And I just wanted it to kind of creep in and then just end up, by the time it gets to the last chorus, just be subtle in underneath, just providing a little bit of foundation here. So. Mars, any life on Mars, any life on Mars. So it's this really nice just sub bass synth here. And then what we have is all of the background vocals. I quad tracked everything here, and it's a lot of pads, right? It's oohs, and then I think I did like ma, and just instead of saying the full Mars, just doing ma, 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 and all that stuff. I just built it up, so you've got 3-part background vocals here. Again, with the Pro Deep, and we can just listen to these. We'll stack them up. And again, it's my go-to vocal chain. I did use the Waves tune on this, set to just major in B.
Is there any life on Mars?
Is there any life on Mars? So that's the track. It's very simple as far as the arrangement's concerned, and the instrumentation is concerned. I did do a couple little clever things in here, including a little reverse piano. There's this part at the end of the first chorus that did not have a reverse piano in there, and I do not own a reverse piano. Unfortunately, I would love to own a reverse piano, but this is what is here, right?
Yeah. Every morning she would wake up with another plan.
So I did it 2 ways, right? I took a little snapshot here. I took the piano room. And this is just a little fun trick that I do. I always go a little bit before and a little bit after. We'll just do a bar on either side, right? And then, so Command T will trim your region where you want. And then Control B will be able to bounce a region in place. And what that means is that it's just going to take what you've selected and just make a new audio file with it. So I'm going to leave the source. I'm going to leave the track there. And I'm just going to do, let's call this reverse piano, right? And we're going to just do that. Boom, that's there. Now what we can do is go into our edit bay, our edit window, which is the quick key E. And if you go to track, you can mess around with flex time and stuff. I'm going to go to file. Because we created a new file, go to function, and then go to reverse, and it's going to reverse this entire file, right? Now, because I have a little more than I need to on it, I don't need the whole thing. So I'm going to truncate this here, and I'm going to truncate that there, get rid of this. And now what we have is let me just add, if I've got I always have, most of the time, I have my secondary click on Logic to set to be the fade tool so that I can just hold down the control button. And then with my cursor, with my mouse, I can just go and very easily apply a fade. And then what you get is this. And now we have a reverse piano. I took it a step further though, and I ended up ramping in I did some volume automation on it. So I'm just going to undo this because we already have it. I did some volume automation on there. So without the automation, you can see it is just very nice and clean. With the volume automation, it gets a little more dramatic. And I've gone through and also added volume rides to the mono room and to the piano sum automation so that everything is just going evenly up and evenly down. And what you end up getting is this.
Yeah, yeah. Every morning she would wake up with another plan.
Yeah, mom and dad, they couldn't. And another thing that I had a lot of fun doing is messing with the Sound Toys Crystallizer plugin. I think I also did it on the Such Great Heights cover that I also did with Kim. So I've included the print here as well as if you have the plugin, you can just use that. And I've got that here for you. So I've got the crystallizer here. It's coming in from bus 19, which is being fed off of the piano room mono, right? So the piano room's feeding the crystallizer here. And the crystallizer, I've got a high pass because, again, I just want that super sparkly niceness up over the top. And you can hear what it is doing. It's just adding in all of these little delays and little tasties up top. And as you can see, I've automated it so it doesn't come in until a certain point, and then it just kind of starts spinning around there. The background vocals are going, the vocals are going, the song is climaxing, and it's just this extra little sprinkles up on top of some nice little sonic stuff that then ends up fading off towards the end. And it's just kind of trickling out here, right? Is there any life on Mars?
Is there any life on Mars? Any life on Mars?
Thank you both ever so much for agreeing to do this. I really, really appreciate it. You don't know what you've undertaken because there's going to be lots of different productions to listen to.
Yay, I'm super excited. Thank you.
I'll give you the tip. Listen to them as they come in. Don't wait until the end, because with the listener to come in, you get 1 or 2 a day, 3 or 4 maybe, and you can just spend a few minutes and you're done. I did make the mistake once of getting really busy and then having to sift through, 1,100 mixes in 3 or 4 weeks. And it was like I just dreamt about the song. Yeah.
Well, we're going to be together soon, so we can have sessions and listen to them together.
New one came in, babe. Let's go toss it on the speakers.
Bing. Listen. Bing, 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 bing. You're like, I never want to hear this song
fantastic.
again.
I'm so excited to see what people come up with, man. This is going to be great.
Well, apparently it's going to be, a death metal orchestrated with
programmed
element.
That'll be the winner.
Now, of course, somebody's going to do that and they're going to be like, you promised I would be the winner. All right. Thank you ever so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
So long, everybody. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir.
See you soon. Au revoir.
Happy producing.